Welcome back. Grade 12s, I'm sure you took a breather, right? Good. But remember, you have to pay attention. You have to stay focused because the goal is what? The A in accounting at the end of the year. All that we're going to be doing over the weeks and weeks is eventually going to impact on that result. And that's where we're going, aren't we? Brilliant. Now, coming closer to the bank reconciliation. Remember that the business as well as the bank will keep a record of the transaction. Remember, the relationship between us and our bank is one of a debtor or a creditor. Seems strange, doesn't it? But will become very, very clear and evident as we go through the transactions. Now, what happens? At the end of the month, the bank will send us what is called a bank statement. Now, this bank statement needs to be compared to my cash receipts journal and to my cash payments journal, not forgetting sometimes we also have to compare it to our salaries journal. What's the reason for this comparison? We have entered into transactions with our bank. We need to find out if they got all the records correctly. Do we have all the records up to date? So therefore, this comparison is very, very important for the entire procedure of the bank reconciliation. Now, what's the next step? Obviously, if the two balances are in agreement, hunky-dory, but that may happen 1 in a million. Why is that? There's going to be differences. And now let's look at the reasons for the differences. Bank charges. We alluded to this earlier on. The bank will charge you bank charges on your account. Items like cash deposit fees, duty on debit entries, all of these are lumped together in one item under one account called bank charges. Okay, next one. Interest and overdraft is never ever added to bank charges. It's always kept separate. Got that? Reason? Interest and overdraft is not an operating expense. It's a financing expense, and you will see later on in the year how we keep it separately even in our income statement. And I'm sure you've done this when you did an income statement in grade 10 and in grade 11. You noticed that interest is always kept separately. And this is the reason why we do not include interest and overdraft as part of a bank charge. Let's move on. Interest on current account. Remember, keep it separate. It's going to be a reason why the two amounts are not going to be in agreement. Dishonored checks. You will notice that once you receive your bank statement, you will find out, aha, this person's check has not been honored. Therefore, you now need to make the necessary entries to update your records so that it corresponds with the records of the bank. That's the primary objective of the bank reconciliation statement. Direct deposits. Yes, people who are owing us money, maybe in faraway places. Maybe, who knows, we have some kind of a building in Timbuktu. So, for that tenant to post a check to us may take a year. Are we going to wait so long? Certainly not. So what do? They go to the nearest bank, our bank, the branch in Timbuktu, they deposit the money there. At the end of the month, when we receive our bank statement, we say, aha, our tenant has paid us. This is what we call a direct deposits. And it's also linked to your EFTs, electronic fund transfers. Stop orders and debit orders. Now, these are instructions that we have given the bank to pay on our behalf, or maybe an agreement we have signed with a third party authorizing them to take money from our account. When do we know all of this? When we receive our bank statement And when we make our comparisons, then clearly you will see that these are items that will result in differences between the bank account and our bank statement as it appears from the bank records. Now, you may also have certain errors that you have made in your cash payments journal. When will these errors become evident to you? When you receive your bank statement and you see, wait a minute, there's something that doesn't look too hunky-dory here. There's a check that's appearing as one amount in my bank statement and differently in my CPJ. We need to verify which is the correct amount and correct the error. If the error has been made by us, we will correct the error in our cash payments journal. Okay, what's the procedure for reconciliation? Here goes. 1, compare with the previous month's bank recon. Okay, items from the previous month's bank recon need to be ticked off. Compare with your CRJ against the credit of your bank statement. Compare the CPJ against the debit of your bank statement. Compare the salaries journal against the bank statement. Remember, I alluded to it earlier on. And having done all of that, grade 12s, you've reached a certain stage where you have updated your cash receipts journal. You've updated your cash payments journal, okay? And you've actually found the reasons for the differences. Watch the excitement because we're going to do interesting stuff that will definitely make your task easier at the end of the year. Don't go away. We'll be back in a while.